All right, you're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which gave some back today, 11 points. It was up 3.25% last week and had its best week since way back here in March, when it was up 3%, 4% back here. No, I think it's right here, 3%. The last week of March, it was up 3.37%. Last week, it was up 3.25, and today gave back a measly 0.08%. So we would expect the Nasdaq to give a little back, as these moving averages start catching up here. We need the 10 and the 21 to get above the 50 here, and it's just a work in progress. It's going to take some time, and the market today traded like it was a little hungover from the Labor Day weekend, the 3 days of barbecue and celebrating. It was a little flat today. The Russell was the loser today, and this index, you can see, it had a nice rally off its 200, and it was up 3.63% last week, so it gave back 2 today. Not ideal. This is more of the risk on type of index because of the small cap and just a more riskier nature for the smaller stocks. But you can see that it got rejected at the 50 here, this red line here, which is not good for the small caps. But anyway, I do not trade indexes. I like stocks, and one stock I like is Apple. And you can see why here is it's consolidated, set up in a base, needs some time to handle out. If you look at the weekly, well, we can see it's only been like 6 or 7 weeks, 6 weeks. So it needs some time here to trade sideways and allow the the moving averages to catch up here. It's still 3.4% above its 21. So that's going to take some time, but we have time. And if Apple has an announcement in their iPhone, whatever, 29 is selling great, or how it's introduced, there's demand, this stock will move. It doesn't even need the news to move. It's one of the quality stocks, and what can you say about Apple? It's been king for 20-something years. Anyway, it looks fine to me. Meta is another one that looks improved after today. It barely snuck above its 50 simple moving average there. You can see 0.2% above the 50. So this one's really struggling, and it's a little concerning that it sold off so easily below the 50, and now it's such a struggle to get back above it. I would be concerned there if I owned Meta, but it's not doing anything wrong. It's had a huge run, and it's just below the 50 and taken a long time. Actually, I misspoke. It's not below the 50. It closed above the 50, but it's just taking a long time. You want to see a little more power through the moving averages. Anyway, Tesla, same thing here. Traded below the 50 real easily, right? I mean, it was just a little too easy how it just sold off down to 212, and now it's taken forever to rally back up. But what I've noticed over my career is that the more times a stock can keep bumping its head up against that 50, eventually it's going to break through to the other side, and we want a little bit of institutional support pushing that thing through here. So that's what I'm looking for. But overall, it's just consolidating in a base. And, if it trades sideways along the 50, it's fine. Actually, same for Meta, they're fine just trading along their 50. This is Google. It didn't even come down to its 50. It was set up in this base and, just kind of showing strength, well above its 21, 3.2% above its 21. So that one looks good as well. And another one, Adobe, one of these grade 8 or divine 9 or whatever you want to call them, just pulled back to its 50, found support, now looks really strong. So those mega cap tech stocks look good. I'm going to move on to the semiconductor stocks because they were strong today, and we saw the rotation, out of home builders, out of machinery and construction and utility, power, electrical power equipment stocks, and into software, semiconductors, hardware, oil and gas. So I'm going to go through a couple of these here. NVDA, just found support at its 10 there. Not much today. I mean, about as flat as you can be, and that's fine for this stock. I do have it on our ready list because I believe that 480 88 is going to be a point of interest here as it makes this little basing action and pull back, maybe it even pull back to the 21, and then anyway, we'll see what happens with NVIDIA. I do own NVIDIA. I like NVIDIA, but you know, you just got to be patient with it. AMD, you know, the semiconductors were strong today. This one was up more than 1%, but once again, you know, you can see that 50 simple moving average. Yeah, the stock doesn't know that line, sir, but traders do. and AMD just cannot get above it here. It closed 0.2% below it, but you know, it's trying. Not a lot of volume here with this move, so you know, it did close its gap here. It filled the gap, and now it's just AMD is a very tough trade. I would think it would be doing better, but it's not. So it's definitely a laggard in this space. ACLS, this is an equipment stock, not a fabless semiconductor equipment. And this one did, you know, like the Nasdaq cut below the 50, then rallied above. Today it was flat, but still looking great as it's 7.3% above the 21. What other stock do I have here in the group? Oh, AMCR. I wanted to show that one. I'm not really familiar with this one. It's hey, how about ACMR? Yeah, this is from a Silicon Valley company. I don't know much about it though. It's small cap, 1.2 billion, but it broke out of this like base on base pattern here and showing strength with volume here up 6.5%. And that's a nice move. Nice follow through breakout here, and then the follow through, 11% move that day. Yeah, 6%, just showing really nice action here. 6.5% move today with above 97% above average daily volume. So good for ACMR. Got to get the ticker symbols correct. Anyway, I'm going to go to the software space. A lot of strong software stocks. Splunk is going out of its mind. It's parabolic. I got to show the weekly charts, even though it's a daily review. But you can see this is a big, long correction, just over and over selling. And anybody who wanted out finally got out. It formed this cup with handle, you know, stage one base, and now it's emerging into stage two. So Splunk looks really good. You know, it's up how many days in a row? Yeah, 9 days in a row. Oh, it looks good. It's up every day. Yeah. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that that is a strong stock, making new highs. So congrats to the longs there. That one looks really good. OKTA is another one that last week had a nice move after earnings, 13.5%, and follows through. You know, follows up with moves on the next couple of sessions, and that's what you want to see with your stocks here. Today it was up 1.17%, and last Friday 3%. So you know, and still consolidating within a base. After hours, we had news, and I'll get to that in a minute. IoT is another software stock. That's, you know, if you look at the daily, it looks like just a double bottom breakout, you know, from the double bottom base. But if you look at the weekly, this is just a big IPO. You could call it just one big base, with this being the handle here, even though it's a double bottom base. You know, you could say this is just an IPO base with the pullback in the handle, and now it's gone up, you know, 3% today, and last week had a nice week. But on the daily, you can see the double bottom base. So it's just, you know, time is perspective, right? And congrats to the longs there in Samsara. That stock has done really well. That's what you want to see in an uptrending market. You want to see stocks breaking out, then following through, and not selling off and falling back, you know. So following through to higher prices. NTNX is another one that had a breakout last week, pulled back, didn't even pull back today. It was just flat today. So I'm keeping my eye on this one. Broke out of this base here, and I want to see it trade a little higher, show more strength. That's a nice long consolidation pattern. So keep my eye on NTNX, and ESTC is another one that I was looking at as it broke out on Friday and tacked on 1% today. And it was a pretty lackluster market today. Yeah, 20% move on Friday, and now comes back on today, Tuesday, and taxed on 1% gain with volume. So keep my eye on that one as well. The hardware, I did mention the hardware stocks doing well. This is a DELL, again, big move for especially for a stock like DELL, 50 billion market cap, 21% move, and today just flat, 9 cents. That's a flat session. It was really kind of flat today. I'll be honest with you, it was dull tape, just a little bit of rotation. And this is IONQ. Looks a little like the index where it undercut the 50, then rallied back above. Today, a nice 8% move. So that one looks good. Gonna attack that $20.14 old high here pretty soon, let's hope. And what other hardware stock? Oh yeah, when you talk hardware, you got to talk SMCI, and this one, once again, a vertical violation of the 50, taking forever to get back above it. This thing needs to drive through that, like the Nasdaq did with some power, like we just saw from IONQ, but this thing can't do it. It's kind of flat today, but it needs to move above that 50 simple moving average. Right there, it's 0.4% below it. I don't know, you got to be pretty patient to wait for that. Returning to the scene of the crime never works for me. Arista Networks, this is part of it's a networking company, hardware, part of the AI scheme or theme. Had a nice week last week. I got to go to the weekly, you dummy. Yeah, had a nice week last week with a high of 198.70. Today its high was 198.70, so it's got to get above 198.70. So we'll be watching for that from Arista Networks. I'm going to move on to oil and gas. Like I said, the rotation was out of home builders, out of the construction, machinery, power equipment, and into the hardware, software, semiconductors, and oil and gas. There was quite a few of them that were moving well. And there was some news after action that Enbridge has bought the gas division of Diamond. I'll get it in a minute. So we always want to see M&A in the space, and this one was up 1.65%. But if you look at the weekly, this thing is just, it's taken forever. Nice consolidation and just kind of grinding higher in the handle there. So you want to see it bust out with some power. I thought it was going to do it today, but it just pulled right back. It only finished, 20 cents off its high. Not bad. OII is another one, Oceaneering International. It's a field services stock. Had a nice breakout last week, and today, it's followed up. 2/3% move. Not bad, especially in this dull tape. Not bad at all. That's one. Dominion Energy. That's the one. Utility sold its gas division to Enbridge. So anyway, I digress. I was going to get to Diamond Offshore. That's why I had the D in there. Diamond Offshore up nearly 3% today with strong volume. It's still, to me, consolidating in the base. You can see it undercut the 50 and now got above it, and today showed strength. Some buyers came in, so that was on our ready list as well. Our watch list or ready list, one of the two. OII and DO. Yeah, those are two on our ready. The other one is Weatherford, and this one is joining the S&P Mid Cap 400 on the 18th. So it got a little bit of a boost from that. Really doesn't need it. You can see the volume here. Just made another new high today, and this one has got momentum. Really strong stock. You look at the weekly, and it's just been straight up for Weatherford. So pretty easy stock to hold there. If you're just patient and don't mind the stock pulling back to the 21 every now and again, Weatherford is a winner. Okay, I got to get into retail. Celsius. I saw the Florida State LSU football game, and there was some advertising from Celsius. It came out today. I guess the Nielsen rating shows that this thing's growing like a weed, and it did make 200 today and then pull back. So, but a nice move for Celsius. The other one that's on our ready list is COCO, which just pulled back to its 21 last week and then rallied 3.3% today, back above 28. And Abercrombie and Fitch, I'm throwing this retailer in with the beverages because once again, gap higher on earnings, a little pullback for a couple of days, then ramps to new highs. And that's what you want to see, in an uptrending market. You want to see these breakouts follow through to higher prices, and that's what we're seeing. So that's an encouraging sign for me. I did mention that the construction stocks, I'm going to go through some stocks that got hit today. This is Sterling, and it pulled back to its 10, still closed above its 10. So even though it sold off, it's it's at its 10, so it's probably gonna. This is why I say embrace pullbacks. Embrace pullback. Don't worry if your stock comes back to its 21 or its 50. You can embrace the pullbacks. Now, if it does what Builder did, then that's not embracing a pullback. That's like, get the heck out. But this pullback here, power, same thing. Power Quanta Services just came back to its old buy point there of 206.43 on the day, and it coincided with that 10 EMA. So this is probably an opportunity here. What was the low today? 206.63, and the buy was 206.43. So yeah, still closed above its 10, 1.5% above the 21. I mean, this thing is just a grinder. Just kind of like Weatherford, just hold it and forget about it. This thing just keeps going higher. And I should never say that. You should never forget about it, because all stocks can go to zero. All stocks contain risk. So you got to manage your risk. But this one is grinding higher and has for a long, long time. Caterpillar, another one that pulled back today, but still, I mean, it closed 1.9% above its 21. So these things can afford a pullback. It pulled back to the 21, then ramped higher, and then so, the money rotates out of here and goes to tech, and it'll flow back towards it, eventually. Just got to be patient. The air conditioner, HVAC, heating, air conditioner stocks also got hit today. A nice 5.5% move to the downside for Modine. It's still 3.4% above the 21. So, embrace the pullbacks, as I say. Fix is another one. It finished flat today, so it just pulled back to its 10, so not bad at all. Builder, I mentioned that one earlier. Oh my gosh. When they slice, vertical violation like that, and then take forever to get back up to the 50. It did rally above the 50 on Friday, it looked good. Today, boom. This is like chutes and ladders, right? Takes forever to come up, and then boom, one day it's gone. And so this is a red flag for me. I would just it's a red flag. I'm not saying anybody to buy or sell, but for me, when it slices to 50 like that, it's adios muchachos. DHI, this one looking sickly. Sliced to 50. There's that vertical violation. Just boom, sliced way through, and closes with that inverted hammer look, and just no strength here. It's just sellers look to be in control. It is consolidating, but it's got a lot of work to do. Pulte was another one. Pulte Homes, another home builder, sliced its 50, and when they do that, it's just a red flag for me. It's a little too scary for me. Anyway, that's it for today. Hopefully tomorrow will be a little more. One more thing. That's right. In honor of the great Steve Jobs. Actually, I got a couple things. I want to show you Zscaler. They reported after the bell today, and they were up quite a bit. Now they look flat. I don't know. We'll see what happens tomorrow. And also GitLab reported, and they were up 5.5%. This thing is, it's been consolidating in a base here. I was watching this one, and then traded above that downtrend line here last week. But, it's hard to buy it ahead of earnings. And had a nice couple of days. Today it was up with volume, and now tomorrow looks like it's going to follow through. So that's definitely a stock of interest. Another stock I wanted to show you was this Eagle Material, and this is one of those building cement construction stocks that broke out, and I just want to show you the moving averages. Like I say, the stock doesn't know the moving averages there, but you can see it broke out, then it got like 5.9% above its 10, and then it came right back to it like a magnet. And then this here it came at 169, it was a 4.1% above the 10, and just like a magnet came right back to it, ramped up again higher, and got 4.5% above its 10, and then pulled back, and then finally it got up to 194, and then so this is a nice breakout, very steady trading, pulling back to the 10, and now has consolidated in a base, sliced the 50, a vertical slice, and now has ramped up. Today pulled back to its it closed 0.5% below its 50 simple moving average. So these stocks have been sold, but definitely one that I'm keeping my eye on. It's a very consistent trader there, and you can see it's shown the ability to move. I always look for the ability to move, make these big, moves, and this stock has done that. And here's the move recently, and now the consolidation pattern, but it needs more time. It's just one that I'm watching. Anyway, that's it for me today. At MC Stock Charts, we never give up. Have a good evening.